It's about housing and people's right to have a home. People were displaced from these buildings, pushed out of NYCHA housing to be redeveloped, and got sick and into terrible problems, and many died. And we're just really heartsick about that, because one doesn't have a right to a home anymore. Not in the NYCHA houses, not tenants, because the rent control and rent stabilization laws have been so weakened that they're not protected. And now not homeowners, because with the new decision about eminent domain, unless the legislatures change it, a developer has a right to capture homes, houses, from their owners and turn them over to corporate development. So we're here to make sure that the folks who were displaced, with all their sadness from being rooted out of their homes, are remembered, and that we continue the struggle so that everybody has a right to a home. I'm Susan Metz. I'm a retired high school teacher, and I'm a resident of Prospect Heights.
I'm Gloria Matera, and I'm the Green Party candidate for Brooklyn Borough President. And I called this press conference today, and I'm working with Milton Bolton and other people in the community because this is a scandal that these homes, people have been out of their homes for 6 years. They have been promised affordable housing, the first opportunity to come back in here, and that has not happened. There's no work going on here. In fact, many residents will be unable to move back here if these buildings are ever renovated or replaced. And the Green Party activists in Brooklyn have been working with Milton and people in Brownsville around the housing issue. We realize that development and displacement is a concern all over our borough, so we want to be here to work together, and we've had Milton come down to our area near Flatbush Avenue to talk about the Atlantic Yards project, which we are opposed to, and he's joined us in that struggle. So we're here together, and we'll talk a little bit more about the residents and what's happened to them later on.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Raul Rothblatt. I'm with the committee to elect Gloria Matera for Borough President. We're here because we're making our statement of unity with these people, the former residents of the Prospect Plaza houses. This is really a shameful incident in our city's history. Of the residents of all of these houses have been kicked out of their homes supposedly for renovation, and they have not been able to return. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but certain of them will never return because they've passed away. And if this is just a way to acknowledge that they have lost their homes and any hope of returning to their homes because of the negligence of all of us, really. I mean, we as citizens have to take responsibility for this, and I'm proud that right now I can at least raise some awareness about this problem, because this is happening here, and it's also happening all over New York City, and it's just unacceptable. And if this can happen here, it will happen other places. And if our society ignores these people, they will ignore other people. And I live on the other end of Prospect Place. We have other problems over there, but really it's part of a greater problem that we're not paying attention to what's going on in our own city. And I'm here to raise attention to them, and raise attention to the other issues that are all around. I'd like to introduce Milton Bolton, because he is the head of the Prospect Plaza Tenants Association.
A lot of people were saying that we're just hollering just for nothing, but the thing is that we're not hollering for just nothing. It's just that they relocated all our tenants out of here, promised us that they're going to return us back into our place. We're supposed to have been back here for about 3 months now. So since that we're not back here, now we're saying to all the politicians, everyone, to actually get this job, get this development done. Get it done now, because it's time to bring all these people back home. We have a whole lot of our tenants have passed away.
6 years ago, the residents of Prospect Plaza were offered improved housing, job training, community services. I mean, Project Hope was everything this community could have wanted. And now today, instead of standing here celebrating new housing, community center for seniors, daycare center for children, thriving businesses, instead we have to gather here and remember those residents who are never going to realize their dream. And we have to ask ourselves, why has this happened? Developers all over Brooklyn are grabbing up land and displacing people, whether it's private homes being threatened by eminent domain, whether it's public housing falling into disrepair and having local and federal government agencies not paying attention. Many of our elected officials are much more interested in giving out billions of tax subsidies for luxury condos, arenas, stadiums, rather than investing the money here, communities like Brownsville, where we really need it. And Milton talked about the fact that people have become ill, people have died since they have lost their homes. And this is a phenomenon that's being talked about. A book was written by Dr. Mindy Fullilove called Root Shock, where she says that the effects of displacement are not just that people move out of their homes, but it has a physical and emotional toll on their lives for generations to come. And we have already seen 6 years of what this project has done to people. We don't want this to go on any longer. What's happened here, Saratoga Avenue, is a scandal. And we demand now that the Housing Authority and the local officials that are involved in this talk to the community, that they finish this project and they give the residents of Prospect Plaza the affordable new homes that they were promised.
My name is Chris Owens, and I'm here today because Margaret Davis, who lived in this building behind us, was a friend of mine and a friend of the Owens family. And it pains me that after 6 years, as Gloria said, we are in a situation where there is basically no progress. We've been totally blocked by bureaucratic snafus and politics. And the reality is that the Republican Party in this country has decided to abandon public housing, abandon affordable housing as part of the mission of government. And we must not ignore that. We must not forget that. And we must not forget the fact that it is a Republican mayor in this city who controls the New York City Housing Authority, which has not fulfilled its commitment to make sure that this housing is restored to the people who live here, our people. And we must not forget that the borough president of this borough is supporting the Republican mayor who has abandoned public housing and restoring these houses. And that is why I'm here today, to show support for my neighbors, for my friends, for the people who came before, who are no longer with us. We have to realize that in the end, it's up to us. It's up to us to fight, because we are part of the process. We are the people who lived here, and we are the people who should be living here again. Thank you. And Alika Empress Samuel would like to say something.
Well, good afternoon. I'm here because this is personal for me. My great-grandmother lived on Prospect Place. My grandmother lived on Prospect Place. And my mother lived on Prospect Place. And in the 60s, they were all told to move because they wanted to build a better community. And that's when Prospect Plaza was developed. And they were told that they can come back. Some of my family did move back to Prospect Place, moved into 1750. And again, my family was forced to move off of Prospect Place because of a rebuilding of the community. When is it going to stop? The Nets Arena should not be a priority for this administration. The West Side Stadium should not be a priority for this administration. This Prospect Plaza Hope 6 project needs to be a priority for this administration.